Shalom. This is a story of a apartment complex, and it's in deplorable conditions. And one gotta ask themselves. You move into a place, and you find out the situation, and you stay there. It's like, what does that say about you? So we be quick to point the finger at other people for our problems, but you gotta check yourself first. And in no way am I saying that, the way that they're living, the way that people is got my people living is okay or acceptable. All I'm saying is we gotta make better decisions. We gotta start back thinking again, leading, being leaders.
Well, lower income residents have complained for years that poor, often deplorable living conditions are becoming more prevalent. Many renters feel stuck and not heard. The Fox 5 team's Dana Fowle has documented conditions so shocking at a local apartment complex, it led to a massive county sweep of the property. We've been documenting now for 3 months what we have seen over at this Decatur apartment complex called Woodridge Apartments. The conditions that some of these families are living in are simply awful and shocking. And I need to warn you that some of this video is hard to look at, but it's what some people have had to call home.
When I first heard her say that, that it's hard to look at, the images are hard to look at, I thought she was overreacting. Man, she undersold it.
But my furniture was destroyed because of the sewer.
They don't even have fire extinguishers.
All the water came and flooded my apartment. Rats, big old fat rats.
The tenants at the Woodridge Apartments in Decatur told anybody who would listen they'd lived for too long in deplorable housing conditions. Oh my gosh, this is like,
Yes, ma'am.
They called the Fox 5 team out for a show and tell, hoping for help. And I'm not exaggerating. This is
Yes, ma'am.
smells awful.
Yes, ma'am.
And then always remember this too. Anytime you locked into a lease, you can always take your rent to the city hall, and you have to document the problem with your renter, and get it in writing and take it down to you get them to sign it. Hey, I need the air conditioner fixed, and you get that in writing, and you take it down to the city hall when it's time for you to pay your rent. So the renter is going to have to go to city hall to try to evict you. But when they try to evict you, they're going to see that you have been paying your rent, but they're not allowed to get the rent money until those problems are resolved. That's how that goes. That's a way around it. I don't know if that's true in every state, but I'm just speaking about, where I live.
It's sewage. It's raw sewage.
This was late July when we saw behind this unit a thick, dripping liquid.
Wow.
This apartment had no tenants, but there were families living in that building.
They're upstairs for the bottom.
Oh, you're at the bottom. Bartavius Thorpe took us to his apartment nearby in the same complex. We saw sagging and
Look at that.
floors on our way to this horrible sight in his bathroom. Look at that.
When you flush the toilet, it comes up in the tub.
Can y'all imagine that? That you gotta live like that? You have to live like that? You locked into that lease? We gotta start making better decisions. When it's time to move, we gotta look for places. We gotta start selling ourselves so we can make a decent living. And what I mean by selling ourselves is we gotta find our talent and we gotta monetize it. It's something you can do better than I can. So you got to figure out what that is, and you got to monetize it. Because this right here, this is ridiculous. This, like, what the scriptures say, I have seen servants on horseback and princes walking as men, as princes walking as servants. I'm probably butchering that. I know I'm butchering that. But you know what I'm saying? We're okay with being on the bottom. You know what I mean? That's
Yep, that's raw sewage. He says his young son was in the bathtub when feces started flooding in.
Man, how is this place not shut down? How are they still allowed to collect money from people? Welcome to Babylon.
He said for years he's complained to management about this, rats and garbage piling up outside. But he claims little here changes.
And that's another thing too. You know, the people that own these, that run these places and don't invest back into them, just take money from people. What they don't understand is when you don't care, I don't care. Like, we know brothers in the hood, they're ready to die for a place they rent. So good business would be to take care of your resident, take care of the people that's renting from you. So that way they'll take care of where they living, so that when they leave, if they even decide to leave, but when they leave, the apartment, it won't even be that much maintenance to turn over, and that saves you money again. But when you this is what greed gets you. This is what greed gets you. Greed helps no one.
Mr. Thorpe told us the complex's communications portal, well, it stopped working, and messages were taken on what he called sticky pads. The Fox 5 I-team reached out to Woodridge Management to talk about the issues at the complex. In a brief phone call, we were told
They actually have a gate and it look like it's working. Isn't that ironic?
no comment.
And they've been through several different management. They don't sold the property so many times that every time a new management gets here, they say they have no record of the complaints that we've been making.
DeKalb County tax records show the Woodridge.
Then another thing too, we always got to think about too. You know, he went to the news. A lot of people don't even want to, you know, because I wouldn't put my face on the news if I was living there in them conditions. I wouldn't put my face on the news. So you know, it's a balance with everything we do in life. Some people just, you know, but as you finna see, this brother been living here for 3 years. That's when it's your fault. The first year is their fault. The last 2 years is your fault.
Apartments have been sold 4 times since 2015, and the sale price rocketing almost $19 million in just 7 years.
So that means that if it's rocketing that much, that means that the that those apartments aren't being properly appraised. There's no way they're supposed to be able to go make an $18 million profit in 7 years if the apartments are like that. And the reasoning, I'm gonna give you the reasoning. I don't want to just say something. I'm gonna give you the reasoning. If I buy a house for $300,000, a brand new house for $300,000, and the toilet mess up in it, and the floors is all damaged, and I got water damage, and the landscaping messed up, and I got a tree on the roof, the house is not gonna be worth more than $300,000. Life don't work like that.
It's a moneymaker, despite.
And I'm not. I didn't mean to stop right there. And I'm not into real estate like that. I just understand how life works. That's just, you know, that's just how life works.
Horrible living conditions that tenants say haven't improved. The Fox 5 I-team tried repeatedly through emails to get hold of the owners. Sundance Bay Income and Growth. It's a
Sundance Bay. They got 2,449 people following them. They're in Utah, so that means they've never been to Georgia. I don't know, you know, but I'm just how my brain works. They're all the way in Utah, so as long as they get their check every month or however whatever quarter, however they get it, they're only concerned with getting the money, and that's not a good business practice. My daddy used to sell cars, and one thing, he used to keep them for like a month after he get them and work all the little problems out of them. And Daddy, why you doing that? Because he said when you sell it, he don't want people to bring it back. You know, that and he's not necessarily saying, you know, just for the money. He's saying that, you know, that's how you're supposed to handle your business. You know, you're selling a car, you tell them ain't nothing wrong with it. Nothing should be wrong with it.
Private equity fund in Utah. We got no responses.
With the tree fell.
Chris Reynolds walked us through his apartment in the same Woodridge complex. He showed us where a tree had fallen through the ceiling during a storm.
And we all know, if a tree fall on your roof within like 24 hours after you calling, somebody gonna be out there to come inspect the property to make sure that this is conducive to people to live in. And obviously this never happened here. So how's this Sundance Realty? How are they, Unity, whatever it was, how are they able to stay in business? You see what I'm saying? We got the wrong people in charge.
2 weeks later, he said, still wasn't fixed. Then it rained.
Everything, my mattress was soaked through, my dresser was soaked, everything I had was soaked through because the apartment flooded.
He was sleeping on the floor when we visited, paying almost $1,000 a month for this one-bedroom apartment.
So he was paying $1,000 a month to live there. That's ridiculous.
He has since moved out, tired of piled up garbage and the crumbling infrastructure. By late
Look at that.
September,
Look, that's like not even trying to finish. How does the concrete end up like that? Make it make sense?
Fox 5 I-Team asked DeKalb County if the latest apartment complex owners had been cited for the conditions there. We were told no.
Surprise, nigga.
Later, in response to our questions, 6 county departments conducted a surprise property sweep, and they saw what we saw back in July. A DeKalb County
So the same thing they saw in July, they seeing now.
spokesperson said the owners were cited 30 times for raw sewage spills, deteriorating roofing, exposed electrical wires, vacant and unsecured units, damaged retaining walls, and more. The fire marshal also found that 95% of the complex's fire extinguishers were missing.
So that's basically saying that they want the place to burn down. You understand what I'm saying? If you don't have any fire extinguishers, like how, once again, that, and then that falls into the code enforcement, because they out riding around looking for people violating instead of riding around checking businesses, checking apartments. That's what you should be doing, in my opinion. That's what you should be doing if you code enforcement. That's what the code enforcement should be doing. That shouldn't be harassing the broke person, you know. But you know, from my observation of things, that's how this life is orchestrated, so that the people that's on the bottom, they get harassed.
Like it's gonna collapse.
Mr. Thorpe and his family have moved out of the Woodridge apartment complex off of Panthersville Road. He says he's waited for help for years.
Look at that.
And he couldn't wait anymore.
I've been complaining since I've been here.
For 3 years.
3 years. Yes, ma'am.
He been out for 3 years. After the first year, them second 2 years was your fault, because you chose to renew your lease. You chose to stay there. So like the brother Kwame Brown say, life is about decision making. We got to start, as so-called black men, we got to start making better decisions. Right? As a man, we can't be woe is me. Nobody cares. And why would you want to do that anyway? We all need help. But we always, you know, we got to start getting back to leading again. Getting back to understanding what's going on. And not just going with the flow. We hear stuff and just go with it. I thought one of the number one rules was, if it don't sound right, it ain't right. We go for anything these days. You signed up 2 more times. This ain't something that just developed. Because if it just developed, you would be the only one. Shalom.